That is some major kickback right there. Whoa. Welcome back. Yes, it's been a while, but yes, it's still winter, but today's a beautiful, beautiful day. There's going to be some changes coming up to the channel, and it's going to take a little while though, so I hope you bear with me, because right now, like I said, it's winter, and I don't really have a place to work on this indoors. So that is going to change, but it's not going to change until April. In about 50 days, this piece of land right here is going to be home to a new small workshop, a 10 by 16 workshop. It's going to have a 4-foot bench, 8-foot bench, sorry, a couple of lofts, a 5-foot door on one side, a 3-foot door on the other, a few windows, and a buddy of mine's an electrician, licensed electrician, so he's going to come and hook me up with some power, and that's going to be the new workshop. So I hope you hang around for that that long, and we'll get that bike in there and start tearing it apart. So once again, I've been tearing into the XS2 to borrow parts. I borrowed this flasher that I had made for that bike, and I'm going to mount it in here if it works. So we'll give that a try. You know what else I forgot to check? I forgot to check the horn last time. So key on, neutral lights on. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that good out here in the daylight. But we have the left flasher. We have the right flasher. So that's good. Does the horn work? Oh, I tried. It's trying, but probably not going to be good enough to pass inspection with that. So that's something we'll have to take care of. Sometimes the contacts will clean and they'll work again, but I probably have another one somewhere that I can put in there. Sorry, XS2. So today, what I want to try to do is, I've actually got a compression tester now. My old compression tester was probably about 35 years old, maybe. Matco, which is a decent company here in the US, sells tools. But something with the Schrader valve or something, it wouldn't hold pressure. But I did take the gauge off and bring it to work and checked it against a calibrated gauge with nitrogen, and it was pretty accurate. So let's get the plugs out of this. Well, you know what I want to do first? I want to put the center stand in this, because I have a much easier time kicking these bikes over with a center stand in it. So I got to paint that up, and we'll pop that in there. I'm really not sure where the center stand came from, because what happens is, I don't think any one of my bikes came with one, except maybe the XS2, and that I think is on the XS1. The XS2 does have a center stand now, because I bought one, but then again, I bought, well, so what happens is I buy, anytime I see like XS1B or 2 parts for sale, I buy them if it's reasonable. And I drove maybe 80 or 90 miles one time to get a bunch of parts that a guy had for an XS1B. He was going to make it into a bobber, and unfortunately he cut all the tabs off the frames and stuff, so that was no good to me. But all the rest of the parts were pretty good, and this might be one of them. I can't remember if I got it anywhere else, but I'm gonna let that paint dry a little bit, give it another couple of coats, and then I'll be ready to install it. While I'm waiting for paint to dry, I did find the other switch that I had. So the housing on this one's in better shape. It'll polish up much better. Also, that switch is in better shape on that one. The one on the right, the on-off's a little bent on this one, but this one's straight. But that is the one I need, and that one's in decent shape. So I'll take this thing apart, take that switch out, put it in that housing. Hopefully I don't have to rewire the whole thing, but if I do, I do. And yeah, then we'll have a working switch. That'll be good. So here's our center stand. We put some grease on these bolts. They slide through that tab, then through here, the other tab, and then through the exhaust pipe. And there's actually another bracket that belongs on there, but we'll do that later when we change the exhaust. The spring hooks into there and hooks into, if you can see it, bend this up a little bit, hooks into a loop that's right there. And this is a struggle, so I'll catch you when this is done. Oh, when you're putting this in the slot here, you want to put it way up as high as it'll go so you can get the spring attached. Then pry it down if you can with something. Once you get it like that, you can put a screwdriver in there, and with enough finagling you should be able to line up the hole and push the bolt through. And with great effort we finally got it in. So, but I'll show you why people remove these, especially when they change the exhaust. On aftermarket pipes, they hit the exhaust when you put them up. So I've got them on there just temporarily, just hand tighten screws, but enough so that it should still work. I already got the plugs out. Now, I should do this. Yeah, I'm out of breath. It was rough. Guess I gotta get a grommet in here. Looks like it's been chafing too. I'll fix that up. It's heading under the fender anyway. When you do a compression test, the engine should be warmed up. Obviously, I can't do that. So we're gonna do a cold, which means the rings will be down slightly. What you want to see in a pristine engine is probably 150 psi or so for this engine. I'd be happy with 135. I don't think we're going to get that. Depends on how long this engine was sitting. Could be some crud on the valves, rings could be stuck, or it could surprise the hell out of me. What I don't want to see is zero. I don't want to see a hold piston or a burnt valve. So let's get that compression tester in and get going. No, panting that bad, right? So we got about 100 on that side. Let's try the other side. And we get about 100 on that side. Now, 100's not great, but they're equal, and what I'm betting is that if I put a little oil in the cylinders, it'll go up. So I'll do that next. There's a thing called a leak down test that you can do. You put the piston at top dead center on the compression stroke. You have to use only like 20 pounds of air. You don't want enough pressure to push that piston down. You put it in, then you can tell where it's leaking from. If it's coming out the exhaust, it's coming out the intake, or if it's coming out like the dipstick hole. So you know if it's a valve or if it's getting by the rings. I'm not worried about this 100 psi because they're even on both. It can't be a head gasket because in between the two cylinders is where the cam chain goes, so it will not leak between them. I'm going to put some oil in there and we're going to do it again. I'm betting these cylinders are dry, and I'm betting the rings may be a little stuck. 100 psi should be enough to get this engine to run, theoretically, and after it runs and heats up, who knows? I'll bet the compression gets a lot higher. That's how I was prepared. Alright, so we did gain maybe 10 pounds or so, but yeah, that would mean it was leaking by the rings. So now it's not that bad, I don't think. I think once this thing runs, I think it'll come back, and of course, you know, once you do it warm, it'll come up too. These cracks that's not tread. As you can see, these tires are made in Japan. They are Dunlops, but they were made in Japan. So what do you want to bet? These things are 50 years old. All right, we can check the other cylinder and go from there. This one looks a little better. This one came up somewhere near 120, so all right. Got compression. One thing we haven't done is check the cam chain, see if it's out of adjustment. Maybe I'll do that next. This is actually the perfect time to do this since the carburetor's off. Makes life so much easier getting in here and getting this nut on and off. Okay. There's a little pin in here, and as you crank the engine over, you want that pin to come out flush with this. If it stays in like that, you loosen this nut and adjust this in. If it comes out too far, you loosen the nut and adjust it out. So we'll turn the engine over and see what it does. Now you want to go the same direction the engine goes in. Plugs out, makes life a lot easier if you're doing this by hand. And let's see what that pin does. Okay, so that pin is in too far. Okay, let's figure out what size wrench we need here. Of course I have American, so I'm sure it's not, but 7/8 will work. actually you can crank this one in by hand. So that's flush. Let's see if it stays there. That looks good. And we'll put the cap back on. Now that will throw our timing off a little bit. That hose in my way. We got it. Never fear. We got it. Let's hope that gasket's still in good shape or we're going to have an oil leak. And we just have to replace it if that's the case. I'm going to check the oil on this bike. I don't think I've done that yet. So, actually I think I did, but I didn't do it right. So to do it right, the bike needs to be standing upright, not leaning over. And this just has to be resting on the top of the threads. And there's like nothing in there. Alright, well I guess you need some oil. Now when I did check it before, it's getting windy out here. All this funnel doesn't blow away. When I did check it before, it was on the side stand. So it did show some oil. I used the old Rotella T4. You can see the oil blowing around. Rotella T4 has zinc in it, which I like to put in these old bikes. Try just a little now. On these bikes, you want to run them. This is a dual breather on the back. You want to run them not on the full mark. You want to run it like right in the middle between full and empty. If you fill it too much, it'll actually puke some oil out of the breathers. So I thought all the XS1s had a single breather on it. I could be wrong. Let's just see what we got here. Yeah, it's still showing zilch. Alright, I'll bring it back when we're full. So I got it just above the low mark. I'm going to be changing the oil anyway. So, yeah, I want to dump a bunch of new oil in there. I'm just going to drain out. But it's got oil. It's got spark. I adjusted the cam chain. I did not adjust the valves. That will come later. It has some form of compression, enough so it should run. Has no carburetors, but that does not mean it won't run. So maybe I'll put a little gas in the cylinders. I have some spark plugs that are new that I only used for maybe 5-10 miles. I was doing a plug chop on the other bike, you know, where you get it up to speed, shut it down, so you had to put brand new plugs in them, take them out, check the color of them and all that. So I kept those plugs. And maybe I'll put them in because they're not sooty like the ones that were in there. Alright, let me do that and I'll set you up so you can see what's going to happen. Keep your fingers crossed. That is some major kickback right there. Whoa. She runs. Don't know how well, but we know she runs. So, I guess carbs would be next. Get some carbs on there, and maybe some exhaust. See what it really sounds like. But yeah. Happy. Got it to fire today. That was kind of the goal. So there's still life in this old girl. You know, 52 years old. She's gonna live again. One way or the other, she was gonna live again anyway, even if I had to replace that engine. We don't know how the transmission is. Still, that's gonna have to be sorted out once we get it running. There's no way I'm taking it anywhere with those tires on it though. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I don't know when the next one will be. Like I said, it is winter here. I think we're supposed to have snow soon. You gotta hang in there with me. Spring is coming. I'll have my workshop built and we can go from there. All right. Another thing is, I checked my subscriber number today. I have over 300 subscribers. I want to thank every one of you. It's because of you that I keep doing this, that I keep making these videos. Otherwise, I'd just be doing it for myself. There's supposed to be a rubber here and a rubber here that are missing. That is weird. Those don't really fall off unless you've had the fender off, or they actually just cracked and broke off. They're stopped side to side. All right, another thing I gotta take care of. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.